Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus, and as you can see today I'm starting my solo playthrough of 1565 St. Elmo's paper. Mastermind Tristan Hall was kind enough to provide me a review copy for this one here. It's all part of the historic epic battle systems. So basically, if you played 1066 Tears to Many Mothers, then yeah, the rules are relatively similar. Thematically, something completely different. Artwork, as usual, is gorgeous, and yeah, it also comes with a solo mode. I have tried this game before. Solo, I didn't do well, I have to confess, but I'm still looking forward to see how things go. So I think let's get started, shall we? Okay, and here we are. This is the setup for the solo game, which is a little bit different to the normal two-player experience, as the foe already starts with some more cards here on the table. And this also means that I have decided to play as Mustafa Pasha. So my goal is to storm the walls of Malta and wreak havoc in that city. On the other side, we have Jean Parisot de Valette. He's trying to defend the cities of Malta, so he's now the foe. So he's kind of the good guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm the bad guy. I don't know. I'm storming. I mean, I'm the invader. Invasion is usually not a good thing. Let's agree on that. I already have drawn my hand of cards here. There is a mulligan rule in the game. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to partially discard your cards and draw new. If you really make that call or decision for a mulligan, you have to discard them all. And I was quite happy with the cards that I've drawn. In respect to the difficulty, I decided to play on the normal mode. It's not too different to the easy mode. I believe it's 1 or 2 turns where this is tipping when the foe, so Jean Parisot de Valette, gets some extra resources in order to buy more powerful cards. So again, I will live with a hand of cards. I'm playing on the normal difficulty. We will start obviously during round 1. And just because of table space constraints, I have decided to play from left to right. Normally I would play from the bottom to the top. In this case, this is my side. I'm trying to storm the right side here. So this is row 1, row 2, row 3, 1, 2, and 3. Just a little thing, but apart from that, usually really playing from top to bottom. So you're sitting in front of each other. But again, doesn't really change a thing. The goal of the game for me as the solo player is either to take over 2 of those frontier cards, and they take 10 wounds. Of course, Parisot de Valette will try to do the same. My second possibility to win this game is to get rid or kill the Valette here directly. Normally in a 2-player game you would also win if your foe or your opponent runs out of cards. I can still lose with that, keep that in mind, but yeah, he will, or the foe, the Valette, will keep replenishing or will keep rebuilding his draw pile, because yeah, he will never run out of cards. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. Most likely the game is being decided by taking the frontiers. At least I'm speaking from my experiences from 1066, where I got close every now and then killing the opposing leader, but I really never made it. And so I never really beaten, at least in a 2-player game of the game. So usually it's really around those frontiers. This should be a long-term goal. On the other hand, if you really get some blows in early, then maybe that would be your strategy. Let's say I'm able to deal 2 wounds already during the first 1, 2, 3 rounds, then maybe this is what I should focus on, and whatever, let those things. On the other hand, I think there are also cards where the Valette might be able to heal or at least block some of the wounds, as far as I can remember. I think with that being said, let's dive into the game. As usual, I'm not doing any rules explanations up front. I really start playing the game and will teach you the game as I go. The solo player is always the first player, and that's a really nice little first player token. It comes 2-sided basically with the Valette and Mustafa Pasha here. Really like that. And again, as I mentioned in my intro, the artwork in this game, it's top notch. It's so amazing. It's so thematic. It's really great. I mean, just look at this objective card here, the Siege of Rhodes. Oh, it is breathtaking. I really love the artwork in this one a lot. Maybe let's have a very quick look at the game summary here. So this is the round phase summary. We have a preparation check where we check for victory. No cards to draw. Loss. Okay, amazing. But that only counts for me. We would now draw cards. We will do that in a second too. So we will start the game with 6 cards. That's nice. We can ready all the cards, pretty much untap it. I think right now we are allowed to say that again. Then we will go to our deployment step, which is pretty much the meat of the game, where we are playing cards, paying for those cards, and apologies for that camera bump here. Then we are checking the frontier phase, which usually only happens when someone basically reached the frontier. Then we will go through the objective phase. This is something that we will see quite often, at least relatively early in the game. And yeah, solo only, move foe resources, dial one step, which pretty much means we are moving to round 2. Again, the AI, the foe, the valet, will go through the pretty much similar steps, other than he's not drawing any cards. But apart from that, he will deploy, he will check for frontier, then we will go for the objective. That's all the same thing. Apart from that, what we are doing, we are playing a card, we can execute an action, we can sacrifice a card, or we can simply pass. Passing means we're really giving up for the round. Then the foe will take some more actions, potentially at least, and then yeah, we will call it a round end, and then we will move into the frontier phase, objective phase, and so on. Okay, then let's draw our 2 cards. What do we have here? That's a cool one. Destroy 1 enemy tactics. That's an event. Basically, we play it for 1 resource point, and then we basically can destroy 1 enemy. This can become incredibly important. They are really powerful tactics, especially in the Devalet deck. So I think, yeah, let's go into it. What do we have here? This is a tactic card on our own. It costs 3, so that's definitely something. And let's put it here. I think we can read it better. Destroy this card and play 1 card for free. Very nice. So let's say we can come up with 3, but we want to play a 4 card or something like that. Then yeah, we can play this card for free. Definitely nicely done, but or nice card, but I'm not sure if we will be able to use it. And this is also something that's part of the game, also the meat of the game, deciding which cards to burn, basically using for resource, and which cards to hold in hand, which cards to play. So this is really always a balancing act, and really I like this mechanic a lot, actually. And quite honestly, here we have an extremely powerful event. That's St. Elmo Bombardment. Action, deal 1 damage to every enemy in 1 frontier. It's a one-off, it costs us 2, but really now dealing 1 damage to every enemy in 1 frontier. And this includes the valet. This is what I told you before. If you are able to do damage soon, then maybe this should be a strategy for this game. Getting rid of the valet before we may be reaching the gate or the walls on Malta, for example. So yeah, I think, wow, that's so cool. But I think I also want to make sure to play this character card here, Ali Portage Bay, the Governor of Rhodes, didn't you know? And when played, Scholarly draws true cards. Choose 1 to keep, 1 to discard, and 1 to place at the bottom of your deck. And again, discarding a card is a bad thing, because again, if we are running out of this, yeah, I mean, it's a huge deck, we will lose the game. But it's not unlikely. I have seen, I think, seen this happen at least once, I believe. At least in 1066, keep that in mind. And yeah, he costs only 1. I mean, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think we are going to do that. I think this is our first action here. So in order to play him, we need to come up with 1 resource. Right now we don't have any resource generating cards. Usually a card that is generating resources has this one here. So this would give us an ongoing. So we should maybe not try to get rid of this card here early. So I guess it's either this unit here, it's pretty powerful too, or it's, I think, yeah, we are going with this attachment here. It's too early right now, so let's try to get rid of it. So we are discarding this card. This gives us 1 resource, enough to play Ali Portage Bay. So let's play him. And then he has to go in 1 of those 3 battle lines here, I think frontiers or whatever. If we place him here, he has to go behind our leader. Again, that's kind of a problem. We really do not want the leader here in our first row, because yeah, it's very likely he gets hit. Much easier than that. If we play him here, then this needs to go. So we always have to fill the gaps towards the front lines. And I really want to maybe leave him down here. He generates battle strength and seal strength, which is good. He only takes 1 wound though, but I think I take it anyway. And yeah, it says when played, draw 3 cards, choose 1 to keep, 1 to discard, and 1 to place at the bottom of the deck. So let's quickly do that. Let's have a look at those. That's a very powerful card, the Slave Laborers. It's an event, play 1 card, it costs -3. That's amazing. Then we have the galleys for 4, and we have the Ottoman Grenadiers, which is an actual pulverized. Deal 1 damage to this card and to this card's front here. I mean, it's cool. We can still do this action, so don't get me wrong. We can still start doing damage early to basically the frontiers. We don't need to get there first. So again, right now, thematically, you have to consider we have just started our assault towards Malta. We are relatively far away, so I think we are right now at Roach, siege at Roach. That's our first objective here. And this is also done so nicely by Tristan, actually, to really get some history lessons into this thing. But yeah, here we can already start doing damage, and but these are also great. Deal 1 damage to 1 enemy up to 5 rows away in this card's front here. So this is really a tough call. This would be the perfect card to place it into the same row as our enemy leader, because we want to do damage. But this is also great. I think we need this card early out. I think we have to. I think unfortunately we have to get this card here. And yeah, I think we need this card. We really need this card. Yeah, okay. I will put this to the bottom of our pile, and yeah, this card goes into our hand. Okay, this was our turn. Now it's the foe turn. If we just sacrifice the card, we didn't. The foe makes a single artillery or range attack. The foe doesn't have any artillery or range attacks. So if there are no artillery or range attacks available to the foe, a card is drawn and placed from the foe's deck. See foe deployment. That's what we are doing now. But therefore, we need to understand how many resources the foe currently had. Right now, he is at -1. We are playing on normal difficulty. We also check any resource generating cards. Right now, that's Francisco Balbi di Correggio, Spanish, Arekebuzi. I don't know how to pronounce that. But basically, this character here gives him 1. So -1. +1 is 0, which also means that the foe, the valet, will only be able to play 0 cards. And from what I can recall, there are not too many of those in this deck. Maybe 2 or 3, if I recall that correctly. So the way how this works now is that we are drawing now cards from this deck until we reach a card that the valet will be able to play. Actually, this can be a quite boring exercise, especially on video. That's a 2, will not be able to play. 5, 1, 1, 2, 3. That might basically go to faster speed now until we get the proper card. And there we are, the Maltese Swimmers, the Maltese Militia. So we are now going to play this card accordingly. They come with an action, and usually we are not taking, or the foe doesn't take a lot of these actions. There are some exceptions really outlined in the solo rules, and there is a unique book for those solo rules here, which I kind of like actually. But I think the agile is something that the foe usually doesn't do. So we are basically now deploying this card into the zone. There are some rules in respect where to place artillery, where to place ranged units and whatnot. In this case, it's relatively simple. So there's a priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We start here from the 1, which means the Maltese Swimmer go into this opposite of our leader here. Right now, that's not a problem. They're still swimming somewhere around in Malta. I don't know. But maybe it's explained. Let's have a read here. I will definitely not read all the cards in the game because they come with a lot of flavor text, which I kind of like. But yeah, I think for the sake of time, let's not do this. Local Maltese swimmers such as renowned horseman Lugu Briffa or the legendary Tony Bayada, a Robin Hood figure, volunteer to swim across the bay under the cover of night, frequently ferrying urgent letters between the Grandmaster and his men at the doomed outpost of St. Elmo. Okay, yeah, then we know why those guys are swimming. It's not necessarily night, but maybe that's their practicing session. I don't know. And just to show you which cards or which abilities the foe ignores, it's Agile, it's Bloodlust, it's Family Leader, and cost discounts, Learn, Reckon, Scholarly, and Draw abilities, and some responsibilities. There are response cards. Obviously, you can play those outside of your turn. I believe we haven't drawn one yet, so we might see one, but again, the Devalet will not use those anyway. Then it's back to us, and I think we really want to use our slave laborers here. Again, we have to come up with one resource point here. I want these two. I want to play this guy, I believe. So unfortunately we will play this one, the Janissaries, I don't know. The cool thing, they're relentless. Unless sacrifice, this card can be played from the top of the discard pile, which means if we're now discarding him, we might still be able later on to replay that. It's not very likely, but I'm just saying that it's a potential thing we might do. So we are discarding this card to generate 1 resource point here. And this allows us to play the Slave Laborers here. Action, play 1 card at cost -3. Slave were deployed for various purposes on both sides here. So we are playing this event in order to bring out this guy who costs us now 0. And that's fine. We can go down to 0, obviously not to minus. So we are not getting resources out of this. And yeah, we are playing the non-combatant supporters here. That's a tactic. Okay, even cooler. Exactly, that was the tactic. And we are playing this tactic now pretty much outside of our normal combat area, but it generates now 1 resource until the rest of the game, or until this card is being discarded. I take that. Nice. This was our turn. We are moving back to the Valette. We are doing the same thing again. Oh, okay, here's basically the next 0 card, and that's the tactic. Exactly. It's a response card, but it's a tactic. It's still basically the same. It even says here how you use it as solo. Again, normally the AI wouldn't use response, but again, with solo, it's getting tight. When a unit or character is dealt damage, prevent 1 of that damage, and that's a terrible card, especially if we are trying to hit Joe Paris or the Valette. I think this might be already a card we might want to get rid of. This event here, destroy 1 enemy tactic, because the sooner we get rid of it, the easier it will be to do some damage to all these folks here. I think, yeah, he will play that card anyway, so we play it here. It's a 0 cost card, so this was much faster, and then it's back to us. Quite honestly, there could be more powerful cards out there, actually. So I maybe want to hold on, but right now it's really very annoying card here, so maybe we really do want to play this event, take St. Elmo's Revelin, and we can pay for it with our tactic here. Easy. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, this card could come back. Keep in mind, he's playing, or he's cycling through his decks much faster than I, so maybe I should wait until I really need it. Maybe that's the better deal, actually. Maybe that's the better deal. In theory, we still have 1. I mean, we can play this card here. But right now it doesn't do us anything, because again, he will use then his Stout Armor tactic card to prevent the damage, most likely on the Valette, of course, and that's at least how I would do that. So in this case, yeah, it doesn't really help us. So maybe we simply want to pass. Yeah, we will pass. And now the Valette will do a series of crazy things. After the player passes, the foe will continue its turn in the following order. Tire each ready artillery card to use artillery ability, unless at the Great Siege of Malta, which is the last objective in the deck. No artillery card here. We have no range card to use its range ability, unless, again, Great Siege of activate end of round abilities. I think there aren't any end of round abilities. Draw and play 1 more card. That's what we are going to do. And I could be wrong, but maybe he's not going to do that, because, again, there are only 2, or maybe there is a 3rd card. I will go through the deck right now and we'll let you know. And then, yeah, we will move the resource dial 1 step to the next round to show the new foe resources total. And then, yeah, the deployment phase is over. So let's see, and again, I will do that and fast forward in a second. Oh, okay. Here we do have some more Maltese swimmers. So I was not 100% sure if there were 3 cards. Maybe there's even a 4th card. Maybe again, my memory doesn't serve me well. So yeah, we have still 0, which is okay. And again, it can't go below 0 in this case. So let's say even if this card would be out, he would still have a 0. And yeah, we are playing now those Maltese swimmers into the next deployment zone, and now he's also calling it a day. Okay, that's the end of the round. We are advancing the resource style here, so you see that it's still -1, -1, -1. I think if you're playing on the king level, it already increased. Not sure how to do that on king level, actually, but again, he's still at -2, but that's the same for easy, normal and hard as well. But yeah, let's see about that. And then, yeah, we are moving into the next round. And actually, we are not. We are still here in the frontier phase now. Again, we can skip the frontier because no one of us reached the frontier, so we can simply skip over it. But we will move into the objective phase. And again, our first objective is the Siege of Rhodes. This objective is destroyed automatically. When destroyed, move on to the next objective. That's a quite easy one. The young Suleiman throws the Knights of St. John from Rhodes after a prolonged siege similar to that of Malta. So we are simply getting rid of the card. So as of the next objective phase, we really have to start doing some actual stuff. So we have to earn our way to Malta. That's the nest of vipers here. So this will be a battle. So we really need to play some cards that show some battle icons in order to progress on that. And this can take 6 wounds, quote unquote. And when we meet or exceed these 6 wounds, then this card is also gone. It's relatively similar for De Valette. This objective is destroyed automatically. So let's also do that. And yeah, his next objective is a seal battle. So he needs to come up with this icon instead of the cannon icon in this case, but then it's pretty much the same thing. He will wants to do 6 points of damage and then he will move on. And yeah, you guessed it right, the very last objective here is the Great Siege of Malta. This is where we want to get to, and then we can really start doing some actual damage or some serious damage to those frontiers. And now we are moving into the final round, and I believe now I should have moved the resource style, at least that's how I think, but we already have done that, not a big deal. We know, you can check it out. So we were basically, it's cutting down to 6 cards. We have 2, so that's not a concern. We will draw 2 more cards. We had those, the Janissaries. I thought these were cool, but I immediately placed 1 card on top of those. So again, we can only hire those from the top of the deck if they are on top of the deck. And here we have a unit, the Ayayalars. Interesting. And they have Bloodlust. I think we already have seen this too. So as an action, we can deal 1 card damage to this card and deal 1 damage to 1 enemy in this card's frontier. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Really going after De Valette with these cards, but it costs us 4 resource points. And right now we have exactly 1. I am already starting to get out of ideas here, but I believe we really do want to play at least 1 more card here, because this comes with seal and with basically might value. And yeah, they're relentless, which is okay, so we might get him back, but yeah, we still need it for the next upcoming objective phase. Again, we have 1 resource here which we could tap. We need 2 more. I think we should get rid of, he's really powerful, but I will get rid of him. I think maybe our target really should be the walls of Malta, so the frontiers. It's tough, but yeah, let's see about that. We need 1 more card, exactly, and I have this tactic or the event and this event here. So that's the damage event and that's the tactic event. I believe I want to hold on to this tactic event here, so we are going for the bombardment. Might be a terrible mistake, but this now generated the 3 points we needed in order to play those Janissaries. And again, we have to make a call where to place them. I think here is no real risk to place them. I am really thinking of placing this card either here or there, because again, it would allow us later on, because there are cavalry, I believe, and I think the cavalry needs to be at the back, or I think there was one, I think it was the cavalry who wants to be at the back. And if I really do something like this, we could really put them into row 3. And here it doesn't really matter too much if it's here or there, I believe, at least. So yeah, let's simply place those guys next to our leader. And yeah, that was pretty much our turn, and most likely also our, yeah, I think our round actually. I think we might need to pass afterwards anyway. It might be the same now for our foe, because again, we are now running through this stack, and I'm relatively certain there's no more level 1 card in level 0 card in here, but let's check it out. And yes, this was the last card, so he's not going to deploy a card, which is a good thing. We simply take this stab, we are not reshuffling it, we are simply flipping it over. I haven't watched whatever was appearing there, I have no clue about the order of those cards.
So fear not, you could shuffle them if you want, but yeah, usually the rules say really flip them to the other side and you are fine. But that also means he's not going to deploy anything right now, which is a good thing. I'm going to pass. So again, he will now check for artillery, he will check for ranged attacks and whatnot. There aren't any, we know that. And this also means now we are basically going through this deck again, and we know there is no level 0 cards in here. So he will also immediately pass. So the last thing to do here is to simply go in here. And you see on the hard level, he would now be at 0. And again, because of the 1 here, this would be a 1. But right now, we still get at least one more round on the normal level. So we know for the next round, unless we are discarding one of his units, whatever the multi-swimmers, for example, or getting rid of the tactic, he will not play any more cards the next round either, which could be good. So the game is slowly ramping up, but when it starts to ramp up, it's really incredibly fast. That's definitely something to consider. Then let's check for the objectives. So we are here at the Nest of Vipers. The Twinling Order of St. John, having rehoused in Malta, spends many years warring with Ottoman ships traveling the Mediterranean. Turgot tells Suleiman that Malta is a nest of vipers. Okay, so we basically want to come up with more cannon might points than 2 in this case, and any excess is pretty much doing damage onto this card. So in this case we have 3 here, 3 here, that's 6. That's why I really wanted this card out relatively early. So that's 6 plus 1, that's 7, minus 2, it's 5, just not enough to do enough damage onto this card. That's really a pity. So the next one will be overcommitted. So we needed 6 damage points. Oh, that's really terrible. 6, 7, yeah, it's not getting any more. Really a bummer. The same now is, or similar thing is true now here for the objective of the Valet, Pial Raid Gerba. And yeah, he needs to come up with 6 wounds, but on a seal battle, which means we are counting up all those crosses here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and 6. 1 less, but I believe it doesn't matter too much anyway, because during the next round he will most likely be able to get rid of this 2. And again, these are just the colors for the players. He needs 2 more. And by the way, the AI or the foe never draws this card here, never gets the bonus. Again, he doesn't care about drawing cards and whatnot. Okay, then let's go into, we can now refresh the card. So we have 1 resource point ready, and I think let's do one final round in this game. So again, we are drawing 2 more cards. We should have discarded down to 6, but yeah, that's not an issue. Okay, Turgot's Corsairs, that's with 3. Enraged Janissary, also a Bloodlust. Oh, that's a nice card, and we can play this for free. And yeah, it doesn't really help us. Of course, we get another cannon point, which is never a bad thing. Problem is, I know that our next card is also a seal battle, so I would really rather have a card that shows this seal value here, because this is where we are a little bit short. I mean, we are at 5, that's also not terrible, but also not necessarily great. Okay, what are we going to do with that? Should I still play it because we can get it for free? Or should I simply pass now? This could be also a potential thing to do. Then we are of course losing 1 when we are getting 2 more cards next round. So maybe we should simply play it out just to have it later on. Maybe that's not the worst thing. So yeah, we are yet again tapping this card here. I think it's resting or so it's called in this game, but same thing. And yeah, we are playing this Enraged Janissary here. It's a character, not so powerful, but yeah, at least he has this Bloodlust. We can do some damage actually in this card's frontier. So maybe we do want to play him also now into the St. Elmo's frontier, because it only takes basically 8 points worth of damage, and if we are using him twice, maybe we have already done 1/4 of damage to that frontier. And again, if we are winning 2 of those, yeah, we will win the game actually. So maybe that's not the worst thing. Now let's keep him there, the Enraged Janissary. We paid for our resources, And then we know it's over to the valet, but the only thing that he can do is to deploy, and we know there aren't any 0 cards in here. As of the next round, he will have, I believe, 1 resource ready, and then really hell's breaking loose. Let me show you this. So again, it's back to us. I could now use this Janissary here right off the bat as an action. I think I'm going to do that. So we are wounding him, we are tapping him. And again, because of the bloodlust, we are doing 1 point of damage to St. Elmo here. Nice! Again, it would be back to the valet. We know he doesn't have any cards. We are going to pass afterwards. Again, he will go through his deck of cards. There aren't any 0, so he will simply pass. He doesn't have any ranged units whatsoever. But again, we will get there sooner, rather sooner than later. And yeah, this also means we are moving this now to round 4. And now you can see he's now at 0 and he has this 1 here. So he has now 1 resource point available. And keep in mind, he's not tapping this card, by the way. Keep that in mind. It's really, really important to remember. So this could hurt relatively quickly now. As I said, the game is really ramping up at some point in time. It's really a geometrical curve, actually. It's getting definitely more interesting as we continue to play. But that was pretty much the end of the round. We will untap all of our cards. But of course, I keep forgetting the objective phase. I don't know why that is. So I can tap those cards because I already did that. So yeah, we are definitely exceeding this here. The battle value, that's not a problem. And problem is any excess is not spilling over. That's kind of a bummer. But this card is now out of the game, which means in solo mode we will draw a card. So what did we get? Mehmet Ben Mustafa, a character. With a 2, we might be able to play this guy. He's nice and he deals 1 damage to 1 non-land enemy. Awesome. I take that for sure. Cool stuff. So this card is also out of the game. Next, we're here at the last straw. The island of Malta is a headquarters of infidels. An aging Suleiman the Magnificent decides once and for all to wipe the Knights of St. John from existence. Okay, that's our next goal. This time it will be a zeal battle. But let's also look at the valet here. Again, he will also make it, no problems. And Don Garcia reclaims Peñón de Vélez. Don Garcia de Toledo is appointed Captain General of the Sea. He reclaims the fortified corsair base at Peñón de Vélez. Okay, this is now a battle, a might battle. So he will now look at the cannon symbols too, but I think that's kind of the same thing. No, it's even 1 stronger. And again, he will start playing some actual cards now as of the next round. Yeah. Things get definitely interesting, but this was now the objective phase, so now we are really untapping everything. And I think let's do 1 final round for this video. Again, we are not discarding down to 6. Okay, what do we have? An attachment. Okay, attached to a frontier it gains might +2. That's really nice. Of course, more important for later stuff. But, ooh, that's pretty amazing actually. +2 is really an amazing thing. But yeah, let's draw another card, and that's heavy wheeled guns. That's an artillery card. Oh, that's so cool. Deal 1 damage to this card and to every enemy in this card's frontier. Wow, that's amazing. And for 3, we could be able to play this. There are no resource cards. Yeah, here's another resource card, of course. I think we need to play this card out too. I think that's really a must. We need really strong, we need resources out there. This generates a resource and it's affordable and it brings us zeal and might. So we also need it anyway. That's pretty cool. But again, we have some very tough decisions to make. I really want this unit out because again it comes with resource and we need resources later on in order to really get rid of discarding cards for buying stuff. So I think this is now really a must. We have 1 resource point here. That's a good thing. So we will tap this for sure. Question is, what cards are we going to discard? And right now I'm actually really thinking about getting rid of this. From starters, I really thought this would be a really powerful card, but I don't know. I really don't know if this is... I think we want to get rid of this card right now. We need 1 more. And now it's this artillery. Either it's cool or it's this... But this naval blockade can be really powerful. later on for one of those things. He's also cool, but he only does this damage once when we are playing him. No, let's get rid of this card here for now. Let's play him out. That's fine. We will discard him. And yeah, I think this guy goes in. Does it here? I don't know. Does it matter? In this card's front here, no, I think we have to play this card in here. And he allows us, when played, to tire one non-leader enemy in this card's front here. Yeah, of course, it's either the Galley Slaves or Francisco Balbi di Correggio. And I think, oh, that's cool. If we are tiring him, he doesn't provide those points. I think this even counts for the foe. Yeah, I think that's perfect, which means yet again he will be at 0. Keep in mind, normal difficulty. I'm pretty sure that he only counts non-tired card. Let me quickly check that. And yes, i.e. it's total as shown on the resource star plus any resources from foes ready cards in play. Amazing. I mean, I would have tired him no matter what, but of course this comes with a very, very nice side effect. But then again, it will be a relatively boring turn for the eye, because again we know there aren't any 0 cards in this deck anymore, so he will simply not take an action. Again, no ranged units, no artillery whatsoever. Play is going back to us, and now I could really decide to activate this guy here again. He would be gone because again it's going down to 0 health, but doing one more damage to St. Elmo would be pretty nice. Yeah, let's do that. So in theory would tap him, but he takes his second wound, which means he's out of the game. We are taking the wound and placing this here on St. Elmo. And again, he doesn't help me in my seal battle. That was the one other reason. If he would have been in a normal battle, I think I may have held on to it, but I think in this case, yeah, it's relatively safe getting rid of him. Again, it would be the valet. We know the drill. It's over to us. I think I'm going to pass. Yeah, we are passing again. He's going through that. Nothing else will happen there. Again, I'm now not 100% sure when to move this further, but we are still at a 0 here, which is kind of okay. Again, this will untap, but right now it's still tapped because this time I will definitely not forget our objective step. We are now in a zeal battle, so let the salad speak. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Not terrible. Minus the 2 here, it's 4 progress. We can place on this card again. I take that. So in theory, if we are basically doing similar next round, I guess we might be able to get rid of this objective here too, giving us yet another card, which is not a bad thing. The valet is in a normal might battle, so this is tapped, doesn't count, so that's 3, 4, 5, also 6 points, which means we are placing 4 tokens on this one too. Again, 6 minus the 2 defense value here is a 4. So right now we are pretty much tied. In respect to this race, we are also tied. Everything will now untap accordingly, and then we would move into the next round. But I guess I will end the episode here for today. We were able to make some progress here. At least we have 2 tokens on St. Elmo, which is pretty helpful, obviously. And yeah, he has a hell of a lot of resources out, or cards out, but so do we. We have at least 2 resource generating cards, and that's not too bad in round 5 we are moving into. So I think we can definitely live with that. So overall, right now, I'm cautiously optimistic we might survive another couple of rounds. But yeah, again, the game is ramping up as we speak. As of the next round, he will most likely have now the 1 resource point. So we will see some more extra cards coming up. And yeah, those can become relatively inconvenient, to say the least. I really hope you enjoyed my little playthrough of 1565 St. Elmo's Pay so far. A huge shout out to all of my patrons. Really do appreciate your support. So if you want to support the show, yeah, definitely you find a link to my page on Patreon. You can support me here on YouTube by clicking this little join button down there. Like and subscribe. This helps too. And yeah, really hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, Bye bye.